Hey everybody, it's time again to take a closer look at This Week in Baker-Mayfield. Kareem Hunt, the newest member of the Browns. Let's talk about him as the football player here. What does he mean for Baker-Mayfield?
You know, Baker's the unquestioned leader of this team going into 2019. I think having Kareem Hunt as part of this team gives Baker another chance to be a leader. He's talked in the past about how he's able to push different buttons with different players, kind of find out what motivates them, what kind of keeps them focused. And I think Kareem Hunt kind of gives him a sort of a unique aspect to his leadership, and it's something I think it's worth looking at going into the new season.
I think Kareem Hunt gives Baker-Mayfield another very explosive and dynamic runner, someone who can complement Nick Chubb and provide a really good 1-2 punch. But also, he can catch the ball really well out of the backfield and score a lot of touchdowns. I also think that it will be great for Baker and Kareem to try some gadget plays together and some of the creative things that Freddie Kitchens likes to do in this offense.
I'm just going to shrug, because we don't even know if Kareem Hunt's going to get on the field this year, as we still await his punishment from the NFL. Of course, Baker has a new offensive coordinator, not a new play caller, but a new coordinator, Todd Monken. How does he benefit Baker-Mayfield?
Well, you wrote about this a little bit this week,
did.
Dan. So look for that on cleveland.com as well. But one of the things that Todd Monken brings to the table is a lot of college concepts, including the air raid, RPOs, and all of those things that are coming up into the NFL. Now, what is the air raid? If you read Dan's article, you will see that it involves 4 verts. That's four vertical routes. And so you kind of just spread them out. It doesn't necessarily mean deep routes. It can mean intermediate routes and some underneath things. But Baker loves to run it, and he also loves to run RPO. So I think it will be a marriage made in heaven.
Ran it at Texas Tech, ran it at Oklahoma. He's going to get to use some of those concepts here in Cleveland. Former Bengals coach Marvin Lewis was doing color commentary for an AAF game over the weekend, and guys, he said Baker-Mayfield got him fired. Who else could Baker-Mayfield get fired, Scott?
Freddie Kitchens.
Oh.
You know, if this goes south, if he is not progressing like everybody wants him to in the next year or two, Freddie Kitchens is on the hot seat. And I think out of all the coaches in the league, you know, a starting quarterback is most likely to get his own coach fired. So I would say Freddie.
Anybody you got, Mary Kay?
Well, you know, I will say this about Marvin Lewis. He's kind of kidding there, but Baker-Mayfield threw 7 of his 19 touchdown passes in those last 8 games against the Bengals. Now, they had the worst defense in the NFL, but I think that's significant.
How about Mike Tomlin? What if the Browns pass the Steelers and win that division? Could Mike Tomlin finally get shown the door in Pittsburgh? I think that could maybe be something that could cause some problems.
Well, Antonio Brown's trying to help that cause as well.
That's true. Freddie Kitchens has said 7-8-1 is not good enough. Baker-Mayfield says the Browns fans need to think bigger than one Thursday night win. That was at the Greater Cleveland Sports Awards. That was the moment of the year in Cleveland sports at that show. Mary Kay, do Browns fans actually need to think bigger, though?
Well, first of all, Baker said Browns fans shouldn't be giddy over one Thursday night win. But he's forgetting. They were drunk. He busted open beer coolers all over the city that night. That's why they were giddy. But no, in truth, really, what he's trying to say is we're aiming way, way bigger than that. And I agree. It's time for the Browns to make the playoffs and to have that home field advantage and to win a playoff game.
Baker-Mayfield was in a video on Complex doing some shoe shopping. Of course, we all know about the shoe culture in athletics. Scott says he loves wearing Chuck Taylors. If Baker-Mayfield ever got a signature shoe, I don't know if NFL guys do that, but if he ever got a signature shoe, what would you call it?
A Dangerous 6. Oh. I think that seems kind of obvious. Dangerous just took off this year. The number 6, I think that goes together. Another option, the walk-on 6. I mean, walking shoes. This stuff writes itself.
I am not a shoe guy. I get my shoes at Kohl's when they're on sale.
Yeah.
Free agency starts in about a month. The new league year begins on March 13th. If you were putting together a wish list for Baker-Mayfield, Scott, what would you put on it?
I would put re-signing Greg Robinson at left tackle. I think knowing that you have a guy coming back on the outside who has experience, and Baker he has to be thinking, I want protection. So that's where you start.
I want weapons on offense. I know the Browns have some decent receivers, but go out and pay Tyrell Williams a little bit. Give him another deep threat, especially if you're really going to be running some of this air raid stuff. Give him all kinds of weapons to throw the football to.
I think I would give Baker the 2 dinner guests that he had last month, Odell Beckham Jr. and Von Miller. He went to dinner with those guys in Los Angeles. He said they didn't talk any business, but you know, he wouldn't be too sad if they both showed up on the doorstep. If I were John Dorsey, I would look into both.
And then he wouldn't have to make a first-round draft pick for like 3 years.
That's right. He wouldn't have any.